Peace and love, everybody. It's me, Maris. And you're like, where the hell have you been? And I'm like, well, I was on staycation. Kind of. Yeah, I was on staycation. Then I did do a little bit of work, but I was on staycation. I kind of needed to do some downtime. With all those crazy blue black moons. Well, you call it a black moon. I called it a blue moon because it happened twice in a month. Well, even if it was a new moon, but they technically said that's called a black moon, so okay. But, to me, when you say in a blue moon, that means something that happens twice in a month that normally doesn't happen. But anyway, I just dropped a bunch of cards here, so let me bend down and pick them up. Okay, and you're like, what was all that stuff behind you? Well, I'm rearranging this room. So while I'm shaking the cards, while I'm doing the cards here, I have a couple of things going on. I've gotten the Ionic Foot Detox machine, and I'm actually going to buy a second machine so that we can do what I call community clinic, where more than one person can come in and get a foot detox. It's not going to be like a one-on-one. Community clinic means that, more than one person's going to be taken care of at a time. So, hey, Biston, how are you? So, I've got my Sacred Oracle deck here, and I only have time to do a 3-card reading before a client comes in. And then I'm hoping to have my home studio set up very soon. They don't work very fast. That's what you get when you hire family. Hi, Dion. How are you? I'm kind of laughing because I'm over here. I was going, yeah, when you hire family, they'll take their time. So, anyway, so I've got a studio coming on at the house. I have starting to do the Ionic Foot detoxes, and so for all of my clients that have had vaccines, COVID vaccines, or if you've had COVID, I totally recommend getting a foot detox. You want to clear all of the remnants of that out of your cell. Okay, there's one. Okay, and come on, give us a message. Okay, whoops, there's 2, caught that one, and 1, 2, and come on, give me another message, 3, okay, alright, so crazy, those were kind of like sticking together. Oh, okay, alright, so this first card is a little interesting. This is the energy that is coming in. The energy that's coming in, and we see, hey, girl, when it's done, Serena, come on in, since you're my client that's coming in next. I just like blue HIPAA there right now. Preservation is the energy coming in. Okay, and I want you to think about this. It looks kind of freaky. I'm using a Palo Santo stick to be my pointer here. What do you notice here? I notice there's a lot of snakes up through here, and I want you to remind you that snakes mean wisdom or knowledge. And then we have the skeleton, and then it looks like within the womb of that skeleton that we have life coming through. And so I want you to think about this more as that cycle and the preservation of, or the creation of life through there. Okay, and I want to point something out. The Aramaics at the time when, the biblical time of when Christ would have been walking the earth, the Aramaics believed that every day you die and you are resurrected and born again. So when I look at this card, that was the first thing that came to my head, was that every day we die and we are born again. We're given new opportunities for our preservation. We're given new opportunities for our growth, our nurturing, and even though some things die, we are always born again into something new. So that's what that card means to me when I'm looking at it, and I'm like, cool, I can dig that. When I look at the sign of the times, what I'm thinking about is that we, in essence, globally, are going through a death of old self. Excuse me, with a birth for new self. So I like that idea here. It's that chance to become what we really want to become. Now, I'm laughing on this card because the message that came up that said sometimes we ain't the sharpest tools in the shed. Sometimes sometimes we come across like the lights are on, but nobody's home. Okay, that's okay, because what I'm looking at through here is that it's more about a blind faith and trusting. A blind faith and trusting than trying to critically work your way through or critically try to break down or create an analysis of what's happening in your life. It's kind of like reading too deep into something. And this card here, when I'm looking at this, is saying, you know what, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And I know they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Now, okay, so what I see with this is a narrowing of, I don't want to say opportunities, but a narrowing focus. So it's, instead of being at a buffet, okay, instead of being at a buffet where you can kind of choose what you want, you will be limited. You will be limited in what you can choose. Okay, so, it's like you think about, normally you go to a buffet like Golden Corral or, I don't know, that fancy one. I can't even think of the name of Vibe or something like that was up on the north side. And it's got like 5 rooms with 5 different specialties and all of this food that you can choose from. And then you realize that you end up going to the Get and Go. The little corner market that sells gas and pop and stuff. And they got the hot bar. And you got 3 things to choose from in the hot bar. Okay? Sometimes those hot bars can be really good. I won't lie. There's some good roasted chicken out there. But what I'm looking at through here when I'm seeing this is it's like you're used to going to the buffet, but now you're going to be limited to about the size of the hot bar or their little hot window thing at your local convenience store or Get and Go. Alright, so, yeah, in essence, you're going to be limited on what you can choose from. Things are going to be kind of narrowed down with an extreme focus. You don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed with this. You don't have to put any critical analysis to it. The message here is it's about allowing things, your old self, to die off, and that's metaphorically die off, okay? And allow the birth of your new self. And in that, again, you won't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed. You really can go on with blind faith and trust. But remember, in the end of this, so in this energy we're talking about here, you're not going to have a lot to choose from. So be very selective. If you can only choose one thing, what would you choose? That's the thought behind that. So I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit closer to getting that home studio up. So maybe I can do some readings from home. I like to do that a little bit later in the evening, but it'll work. So Ionic Foot detoxes are now available. I've got community clinic. I'll be posting them on the page when I'm going to have community clinic, or I have private sessions available, and you can schedule your private sessions at OklahomaHealingConnection.com. Peace. Have a great